Overrated in hockey doesn't mean bad. It means expectations don't match reality. But in today's NHL, there are a few players that keep getting brought up in that conversation over and over again, and fans are split right down the middle. So, let's talk about 3 players people keep calling overrated and whether that label actually holds up. First up is Seth Jones. This is one of the most debated defensemen in the entire league when it comes to value versus impact. Because on the surface, Jones looks like everything you want in a top pair NHL defenseman. Big minutes, tough matchups, power play time, penalty kill, all situations, responsibility. Coaches trust him in every situation. But here's where the controversy starts. A lot of fans look at his contract, his usage, and his reputation, and then look at all the results on the ice. And they feel like there goes a gap. Not that he's bad, but that he's always being treated like an elite franchise-level defenseman when the impact doesn't always look that way shift to shift. And that's the key issue, perception versus reality. Some nights he looks like a true franchise defenseman holding up his team. Other nights the defensive results and puck movement just don't match the workload on the price tag. But the counter-argument is just as strong. He's played on teams that haven't exactly been defensive powerhouses. He's constantly been facing top lines, starting in tough zones, and rarely gets easy minutes. That kind of environment can drag down almost any defenseman. Seth Jones' contract is $9.5 million per year. That's more than Cale Makar is getting right now. So here's the real question. Is Seth Jones actually overrated, or is he just being asked to carry a defenseman load that makes anyone look worse than they really are? Next is Jonathan Huberdeau, and this is probably the clearest case of expectation shock in the entire NHL. At his peak, Huberdeau looked like a true elite offensive winger, point-per-game production, high-end playmaking, and the kind of offense control that made him look like a franchise driver. That version of him is what shaped how people still view him today. But since the move to Calgary, things haven't looked the same statistically, and that's where the overrated conversation comes from. Fans see the contract, they remember the Florida production, and then they look at the current numbers, and the gap creates frustration. But here's often what gets ignored. His role completely changed, different system, different line mates, different style of play, and a different team. That matters a lot more than people want to admit. Still, perception in hockey is brutal. Once you get paid like a superstar, anything less than a superstar production gets labeled as disappointment, even if you're still a solid top 6 forward. And finally, Pierre-Luc Dubois. This is one of the most complicated, overrated debates in hockey, because Dubois has always been treated like a player with star potential, big frame, skill, power forward traits, and the ability to play center at a high level. But the expectations have followed him everywhere he's gone, and they've never really fully matched what fans hoped he'd become. Critics point out that he's never really consistently hit that true top-line dominance. Not always driving offense the way elite centers do, not always producing at this level his contract and role might suggest. And that's where the label starts to show up. But the other side of the argument is important too. Dubois has been moved around, used in different systems, and asked to fill different roles depending on the team. That kind of instability makes it hard for any player to find a consistent offense rhythm. So what is he really? A top-line center that hasn't really broken out yet? Or a strong two-way middle six player who's been miscast into bigger expectations? At the end of the day, overrated in hockey usually says more about expectations than actual performance. But that's what makes these conversations so loud and so divided. So what do you think? Are these players actually overrated, or is this label completely unfair?